Hi everyone, this is Slash and Cut. Today I'll be bringing you a small overview of the Squid trainer, trainer made by Squid Industries or Squid Master or Lucas Tsao, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm not sure. I tend to mispronounce words, as you can tell, but well, people mispronounce my name all the time too, so I'm allowed to do it, I guess. And basically, this is a trainer that I'm recently purchased, and I wanted to make a little overview to get the information out there, because I haven't seen many reviews on this, and well, to inform people and all the other reasons why people talk about knives, I guess. For comparison's sake, let's put in a 40TR. It's actually a TR, it's not a T. But anyway, and a Prodigy, just to compare a little bit. Let me get those pivots lined up. As you can see, the Squid trainer is it's quite a sizable trainer. It is a big one, and this just follows the trend in the balisong flipping knives. Balisongs tend to get bigger. The 40X used to be, like when I started, was a golden standard of flipping, and now they start to become smaller knives, or in the smaller range. When you look at Alpha Beasts, Replicants, they're all bigger. Tachyons, well, Tachyon 3 at least, and that's a huge knife compared to the 40X. For instance, because I have this one ready, the Tempest, also a huge knife compared to the 40X, and yeah, the Squid trainer just follows this trend, so that's a good thing, I guess. You don't want an older modeled trainer, you want to be following the trend, I guess. So yeah, more on that later. I'll be adding dimensions and specifications in the description when I can look them up properly and convert them from centimeters, the metric system. Anyway, let's start talking about the Squid trainer itself, and let's start by the blade. The blade is well, not much to talk about since it's a trainer. It's just a piece of steel with bits removed, just like any other trainer. I do have to say that this balisong is blade heavy. It's not bothersome, but yeah, you notice that it's blade heavy. It's not to the point where you can do a chaplain without it flying off. That's certainly not the case. It's just more blade heavy than the knives I usually flip, which are the 40X mostly. If I were the designer of this knife, I would make this hole a little bit bigger or add a little bit more weight at the end, but that's just my opinion, and that's personal preference. Flipping wise, this is a good flipper, but I'll talk more about that when I talk about the knife in general at the end. Other than that, the blade, not much to talk about. Blade steel doesn't really matter, as yeah, you don't need to sharpen it. It doesn't rust. That's the main problem you'd have with a trainer, so that's good. And the only other thing worth mentioning is the little choil thing, little hook here. This is, since this balisong is latchless, you do need a way to differentiate between the bite handle and the safe handle, and you also want to know when you would have cut yourself, and this little hook does that. It is a good way. You immediately feel like when you do a bite handle chaplain, you immediately notice that you have the wrong handle, or you use the wrong handle, or when you do ricochets, you do notice that there's that little pin. So that's a good thing. It might be a little bit too aggressive, as you can see. If I flip, this thing can pinch. So it can pinch pretty badly. Well, pretty bad, relatively badly, I should say. So that's could be an issue, but I rather know when I hold the wrong handle, rather than not feeling anything, I guess. So I wouldn't change that personally. That's a good way to differentiate. And yeah, that's the blade basically. You can see this is how it looks closed. Maybe I should have done that in the start, but anyway, yeah, that's the blade. Let's go over to the handles. The handles are made out of aluminium. That's a good thing. They're very light. A lot of quality balisongs do have, well, not a lot, but there's a few quality balisongs out there that have aluminium handles. The Tachyon 3, which was maybe a kind of a disappointment since people expected titanium, but it's still decent balisong. And then there's a Benchmade. I'm not sure what the model name is, but there's also an aluminium Benchmade which does flip really well, but there's only a very limited run, so I imagine not many people flip those. And yeah, it's a great material, it's cheap, which is kind of important for a trainer, I guess. You don't want to go too expensive in a trainer since it's just a trainer. So keeping the costs down on a trainer is quite important, and I find aluminium a good choice of material. The downsides are it does, I don't know if you can tell, but it does scratch up pretty easily. You can see it's full of little scratches. I don't really care personally. Like all my knives, when you look at my Prodigy, I've abused this one though, and it's taken the abuse pretty well. But I mean, if you flip them around, you're gonna get scratched up. But yeah, titanium is a bit softer, so it will ding up a bit. Oh yeah, of course. Then for weight distribution, there are added weights here, and over here are the Zen Pins. This is Zen Pin construction, and well, I like this about these kind of knives. There's like a nice ring to it because of the aluminium, and I don't know, I like that when I'm flipping a knife. It's like the Spiderfly also has that little ring, and that's quite nice. Yeah, the handles, what else can I say about them? Yeah, it's channel construction, which is important. So you can see just one big piece of aluminium. Good, because you don't want to lose screws. I like channel construction very much, so because it's just a lot easier. It's just so easy. Yeah, that's trying to. I know I'm forgetting something. Yeah, Zen Pin construction. What I meant. Oh yeah, of course, the actual size of the handles. They are quite big. They're big and they are square. So also following kind of the trend that's going on in knives. Like, I don't know. I think they're quite. Let's see if I can give a proper comparison. They're almost like, yeah, they're very similar to the handles of a Tempest. I think there's pretty much the same as a Prodigy. No, there's quite a bit of difference with the Prodigy, but I would almost think that they based the size of the handles, or at least the shape of them, on the handles of a Tempest, which is, yeah, something you need to get used to. For some tricks, finer handles are better. For others, big square handles are just optimal. So again, personal preference. Flipping this is yeah, it just flips nice. I don't have any complaints about the flipping. Now, in general, what do I think of the knife? Well, it's not perfect. It does flip well, and that's the main thing, so that's a good thing. But what I do think is that the fit and finish of this knife is a bit, yeah, a bit of a, I wouldn't exactly say a letdown, but they go for around $150, and for that price, I do find that there should be a little bit more fit and finish on these things. For instance, one of the things I noticed when I took it apart, I noticed that the two handles didn't weigh exactly the same amount, which they should. I know it's a small thing, but for $150 you do expect, I mean, a bit more fit and finish. Then yeah, there's like the Zen Pins. I don't know, I'll put up a picture. I'll edit in a picture over here, or at the end. Where the handles are pressed in, I mean the Zen pins are pressed in, there's a little bit of a bump in the aluminium handle, and that's, yeah, just tiny things. They're minor, you don't notice them when you flip them. I actually talked to Squid Master about these issues, and he said, yeah, just general fit and finish. He also said that he might be working with a new company. I'm not gonna talk about that though, because that's well, that's not up to me. I just have to review this product. But he'll of course, I mentioned the problems I had with the blade, and he reassured that it shouldn't be an issue. Like, for instance, one of the issues I had was, since it's aluminum with steel pins right here, when you flip this around, like, for a few hours, there's a lot of pressure on these on the aluminium around the pins, and I'd imagined after a while the holes where the pivots go into will wear off or enlarge or pretty much get destroyed, and the pins will fall out. And yeah, that was one of the issues I was afraid of, but that wasn't the case. There are plenty of people who have flipped these who have pretty much abused these things, and that was never an issue. I flipped it a lot more in the past few days, and I haven't noticed any changes, so that's a good thing. But yeah, there are a few fit and finish things that I don't really expect on a $150 product, especially when you think about the actual production costs. I mean, they're not expensive materials. That's what I'm getting at. But in general, it's a good flipper. Like I said, a bit blade heavy, but it's not an issue, just something you need to get used to. And yeah, I think this is an excellent trainer, especially in there's kind of a gap in the market for them. There aren't many affordable trainers that would last for a bit. I flipped this quite a bit, and it's hanging on. I have no issues, no things came loose or broke down, so that's a good sign. So in conclusion, I would say I would recommend this product. It's a good trainer. They're not as good as a Prodigy or a 40X, but try and get one of these for $150. That's quite a challenge. So within the price range, it's definitely the best trainer you can get. Only downsides is, yeah, like I said, the fit and finish is not that great. I personally find that bothersome, but a lot of people who just want to flip, you don't really care. Yeah, it will get dinged up, but that's just, yeah, that's actually with any knife. If you see the state, like the other flippers, like I've seen some pictures of Alpha Beasts, which are also extremely good flippers, and they use titanium. They also get beat up, so that's just an inevitability. So yeah, so in general, I would recommend the knife. I'm happy with it. I hope this overview kind of helped you, and if you have any further questions or remarks, feel free to ask them. Until next time.